Hi. So I went on this date with this lawyer who'd done a law degree and now he was working as a consultant. He had mixed race background, I think Indian and Anglo. He was younger than me. I think he was about his early 30s. So as soon as we met each other, we really hit it off as instant connection and the conversation was flowing really well. So we had a drink at a bar. I think he was like a casual smoker and he felt like a cigarette, and I have occasional cigarettes. And he wanted to get a cigarette from some people near us, but it was very awkward interaction the way he went about it. It just didn't go smoothly. It's awkward. And we went to the next bar and we were drinking again. And again, I think we both wanted a cigarette. And so I said, look, I'll do it this time. So I went over to two other guys who were smoking at a table near us. And so I tried to be, cheerful and friendly to persuade them to give a stranger cigarettes. Cigarettes are quite expensive these days. Anyway, so I asked, and then they hit on me. And I have to say, I'm actually on a date with another guy, and they were kind of like, so what? So that was very flattering. Got the cigarette and went back, but the lawyer guy who I was on the date with, he was just came on a bit strong with his body language. Like he wanted us to sit really, really close, and he had like his knees apart, and he wanted to have my knees between his knees, and it was just too close and in public and too soon. So I told him I was uncomfortable, and moved so I was more comfortable. The first day, honestly, I could hardly fault it. After the second bar, we went upstairs and there was dancing, and he was clearly a good dancer and he knew how to do dancing, like swing style dancing, where he twirled me in and twirled me out and then spins me round, and then sort of like 50s kind of dancing. So that was really fun. And then we had this great conversation where we were doing this thing where we were going through the timeline of our lives, trying to get to know each other, and then zooming in to a specific point in time and telling all the details from that time. So we were sharing some interesting anecdotes, and honestly, it was so personable and charming. We had a first kiss. Yeah, I went home so happy. I was like, finally, I found someone. The only thing that I could fault him with was I noticed he did something a little bit selfish. So we're at the second bar, we're sitting at a table. I needed to go to the toilet and he needed to get a drink. And then he prioritizes him getting a drink over me needing to pee. So he goes, you wait here, I'll get a drink, and when I come back, you can go pee. And I just thought to myself, it's kind of a selfish prioritization. But that's the only hint I had of his real true colors, which he revealed on the second date. So on the second date, we'd organized to meet at a different bar. I'd gotten there first, and I saw that they had trivia about to start, and they had stand-up comedy upstairs a bit later. So I was trying to suss out, the cover charge and if we can join at last minute before he got there. Really excited. Like, I love trivia. I love stand-up comedy. So I was really excited about that. And then he gets there and I'm like, let's play trivia and stuff. And he wasn't very enthusiastic and he didn't really want to do it. We got a table and we thought of a name for ourselves. And then he's like, this is ridiculous. There's only two of us here. We shouldn't. I mean, it's a fair point. There was only two of us, and trivia is better in a group. I didn't think too much of it. So we went out to the courtyard and we were having a drink. And so then I'm like, well, let's do the stand-up comedy. And he's like, no, we can't do that because there'll be a cover charge. And I'm like, what's the big deal with a cover charge on stand-up comedy? We're both working. He works full-time as a consultant or whatever. Why, you can't afford $10 to see some comedy? And I had no expectation of him shouting me things. I think both dates we went Dutch, which I'm fine with. I don't expect a guy to shout me. But he didn't want to do any. It was his way or the highway. No trivia, no stand-up. And then maybe he had a bad day at work or something. He wants to get a kebab and come back to my place. And I'm thinking to myself, I don't like the sound of that. So he wants to get the kebab takeaway and then come back to my place and eat it. And the two situations would be, he eats a takeaway kebab. I didn't need to eat. I think we texted previously to see if we were going to eat together, and he indicated that we wouldn't be, so I'd already had dinner. He obviously, no, I don't know. I don't know his whole reasoning behind that. Yeah, but I didn't. One scenario, I'm sitting in my kitchen. I brought home like a brand new guy that my flatmates don't know, and he's eating a kebab in the kitchen. It's awkward, isn't it? And then the other scenario, we go straight to my room and he eats the kebab in my bed. I don't want him to eat a kebab in my bed. So I stand up for myself and I say, no, you're not getting a takeaway kebab and you're not coming back to my place. And he's like, oh, okay, we'll go get a kebab and maybe go back to yours after that. So my enthusiasm is waning so much. And, my instincts telling me, ditch this guy. This guy is not who you thought he was. He's totally selfish. It's his way or the highway. Get rid of him. But I just didn't feel 100% sure enough to send him home. And I wasn't revealing much of my disdain for his plans and his behavior. So we went to this awful kebab place, like a takeaway shop. And it's like really brightly lit and these awful tables and chairs. He buys himself his kebab. He sits down. It's big. It's messy. There's stuff coming out of his mouth. He's spilling stuff. He's like talking with his mouth full. Could not be less romantic. More romantic? Less romantic. And yeah. And so I think, okay, he can come back to mine, but I make it really clear. I said, nothing more than kissing, and I don't want you to try. You can't try to do more than kissing. Kissing is all I'm ready for. That's all that's happening. We had a very clear conversation about it. And then what does he do when he's inside? He tries for more. So, I flick him off. And then he starts getting very familiar. And he calls me sexy bitch. And then he spanks me and calls me a naughty girl. And I'm like, what are you doing? Okay, so I'm ready for him to go. So I pretty much hint that he has to leave. I think my hostile reaction to the whole evening has come across at this point, and he can tell I'm not happy with him. He leaves. There's no, I'll call you. There's no, oh, do call me. It's just a clear separation, never to see each other again. What happened post this second date? There were no phone calls or anything, no more contact. I was out to dinner with my friends at a restaurant, and I was telling them the story. And when I got to the part about the spanking, I looked over and I made eye contact with this girl right at the table next to me. And she'd been listening to the conversation, and she couldn't stop laughing when I was talking about how he wanted to spank me. We were just, me and my friends and this strange girl were all laughing at the absurdity of it. Yeah, so that was my 2 dates with the mixed race lawyer in his early 30s. Okay. Subscribe if you'd like to. I'll be back.